You know, I've been thinking about something lately. Something that's been gnawing at me, keeping me up at night, and I bet it's been bothering you too, whether you realize it or not. It's this idea, this dangerous little notion that's crept into our society. The idea that change is something that happens to us, not something we make happen. Now let me ask you a question. When was the last time you looked at your life and said, this isn't good enough? When was the last time you decided that you weren't going to wait around for things to get better, but that you were going to make them better? Too many of us are sitting on the sidelines of our own lives, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect circumstances. Well, I've got news for you. That perfect moment, it doesn't exist. It never has, and it never will. You see, life doesn't happen to you. Life responds to you. It's not about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And let me tell you, some of the best dancers I know started in the middle of a downpour. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but things are tough right now. The economy is not what it used to be. There's so much uncertainty in the world. And you're right, things are tough. But let me ask you this. When in history has anything great ever been achieved without overcoming tough times? You see, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And I'm here to tell you that you're tougher than you think. You've got more potential inside you than you could ever imagine. But potential without action is like having a Ferrari in your garage that you never drive. It might look impressive, but it's not taking you anywhere. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to make a decision right now. A decision that from this moment on, you're not going to wait for change to happen. You're going to make it happen. You're going to be the architect of your own destiny. Now, I know that sounds big. It sounds intimidating. But here's the secret. Big changes don't happen overnight. They happen one small decision at a time, one small action at a time. You want to start a business? Great. But don't wait until you have everything figured out. Start small. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Maybe that means setting aside an hour each day to work on your business. Maybe it means reaching out to one potential customer or mentor each week. The point is, start moving. You want to get in shape? Fantastic. But don't wait until you have the perfect workout routine or diet plan. Start today, go for a walk, do some push-ups, eat one healthier meal. Small actions consistently taken lead to big results. You want to improve your relationships? Wonderful. But don't wait for the other person to change. Be the change you want to see. Show more kindness. Listen more actively. Express gratitude more frequently. These small acts can transform your relationships over time. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Change is never easy. If it were, everyone would be living their dream life. But here's the thing of staying the same is ultimately greater than the pain of change. Think about it. 5 years from now, you can be exactly where you are today, dealing with the same problems, facing the same challenges, or you can be in a completely different place. The choice is yours. But remember, not making a choice is still making a choice. You see, life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. And creation is an active process. It requires intention, effort, and persistence. I remember a young man I met years ago. He was working a dead-end job, barely making ends meet. He told me he was waiting for his big break, waiting for things to turn around. I asked him, "What are you doing while you're waiting?" He looked at me puzzled. I said, "Are you learning new skills? Are you networking? Are you saving money? Are you working on your mindset?" He admitted he wasn't doing any of those things. He was just waiting. And that's the trap so many of us fall into. We think that by waiting, we're being patient. But there's a big difference between patience and passivity. Patience is active. It's working towards your goals while understanding that results take time. Passivity is just letting life happen to you. That young man took my advice to heart. He started using his evenings to learn coding. He started attending industry events and making connections. He started putting aside a little money each month, even though it wasn't much. And you know what? Within 2 years, he had landed a job at a tech startup. Within 5 years, he had started his own company. The point is, he stopped waiting for change to happen and started making it happen. And that's what I'm challenging you to do today. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but I don't know where to start. Well, let me give you a simple formula. It's something I've used throughout my life, and it's never failed me. It goes like this. Dream big, start small. But dream big. Allow yourself to imagine the life you truly want. Don't let your current circumstances limit your vision. Remember, your current reality is just a result of your past thoughts and actions. It doesn't define your future unless you let it. Start small. Break down your big dreams into small, manageable steps. If you want to write a book, start by writing 1 page a day. If you want to run a marathon, start by running around the block. Small steps might not seem significant, but they create momentum. And momentum is a powerful force. But most of all, start. Take action today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Because here's a secret. You'll never feel completely ready. The most successful people in the world are those who were willing to start before they felt ready. Now, let's talk about fear for a moment. Because fear is often what keeps us waiting. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of what others might think. But here's the thing about fear. It tells you that you're not good enough, that you're not ready, that you can't do it. But that's not. Fear is just false evidence appearing real. It's your imagination working overtime, conjuring up worst-case scenarios that rarely, if ever, come to pass. And even if they did, so what? Failure isn't fatal. In fact, failure is often the stepping stone to success. I've failed more times than I can count. But you know what? Each failure taught me something. Each setback made me stronger, more resilient, more determined. And that's true for anyone who's ever achieved anything worthwhile. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before he successfully invented the light bulb. When asked about it, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset of a person who refuses to wait for success to happen. That's the mindset of a person who makes success happen. So I want you to embrace failure. I want you to see it not as something to be feared, but as something to be learned from. Because the only real failure in life is the failure to try. Now, let's talk about excuses. Because excuses are the nails used to build a house of failure. And believe me, I've heard them all. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have the right connections. But here's the truth. You can come up with, there's someone out there who's faced the same obstacle and overcome it. There are people who started successful businesses in their 60s and 70s. There are teenagers who've become millionaires. There are people who built empires starting with nothing but an idea and determination. You see, success doesn't know age. It doesn't know your background. It doesn't know your circumstances. All it knows is effort, persistence, and a refusal to give up. So from this moment on, I want you to make a pact with yourself. No more excuses, no more I can't. From now on, it's how can I? Instead of saying I don't have time, ask yourself, how can I make time? Instead of saying I don't have the money, ask yourself, how can I raise the money? This shift in mindset from problem-focused to solution-focused is game-changing. It moves you from a passive state of waiting to an active state of doing. Now, let's talk about comfort zones, because comfort zones are beautiful things. They're cozy, they're familiar, they're, well, comfortable, but you know what else they are? They're the enemies of growth. Nothing great ever came from comfort zones. Every major breakthrough, every significant achievement, every remarkable success story started with someone stepping out of their comfort zone. You see, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. That's where the magic happens. That's where you discover what you're truly capable of. That's where you find your greatness. So I challenge you to do something that scares you every day. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting when you usually stay quiet. Maybe it's trying a new hobby. Maybe it's striking up a conversation with a stranger. Whatever it is, do it. Because each time you step out of your comfort zone, it expands. And as your comfort zone expands, so do your opportunities. Now let's talk about time. Because time is the great equalizer. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't often comes down to how they use those 24 hours. You see, time is like a river. You can't stop it, you can't slow it down, but you can decide how to use it. You can let it carry you along aimlessly, or you can steer your boat in the direction you want to go. So I want you to start guarding your time like it's the precious resource it is, because it's the most valuable thing you have. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Start by auditing how you're currently spending your time. Are you using it in ways that move you closer to your goals, or are you letting it slip away on things that don't really matter? Now, I'm not saying you need to be productive every minute of every day. Rest and relaxation are important, but there's a difference between intentional rest and mindless time wasting. Make sure you're choosing the former, not falling into the latter. And here's a tip. Start waking up an hour earlier. Use that hour to work on your goals, to learn something new, to exercise, to meditate. That 1 hour a day adds up to 365 hours a year. That's over 15 full days. Imagine what you could accomplish with an extra 15 days a year focus solely on your goals. Now, let's talk about your environment, because your environment shapes you more than you might realize. The people you spend time with, the information you consume, the places you frequent, all of these influence your thoughts, your behaviors, and ultimately your outcomes. So take a hard look at your environment. Is it supporting your goals or hindering them? Are the people around you lifting you up or pulling you down? Are you feeding your mind with information that inspires and educates you, or are you consuming mindless entertainment? Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, who believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. And don't just limit this to people. Surround yourself with books that expand your mind, with art that stirs your soul, with experiences that broaden your horizons. Create an environment that nurtures your growth and propels you toward your goals. Now let's talk about persistence, because persistence is the bridge between failure and success. It's what separates the dreamers from the achievers. It's what turns setbacks into comebacks. You see, most people overestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in a decade. They give up too soon, not realizing how close they were to a breakthrough. Success is rarely a straight line. It's full of ups and downs, twists and turns. But here's the secret. The downs are just as important as the eeps. They're where you learn, where you grow, where you develop the strength and wisdom needed for long-term success. So when you face a setback, and you will face setbacks, don't see it as a sign to give up. See it as a sign to push harder. See it as life testing your commitment to your dreams. Remember, the darkest hour is just before dawn. Often when things seem the toughest, when you feel like giving up, that's when you're on the verge of a breakthrough. So don't quit. Keep going. Keep pushing. Keep believing. Now let's talk about gratitude, because gratitude is the antidote to entitlement and the fuel for contentment. It's easy to focus on what we don't have, on what's not working, on what we're waiting for. But that mindset breeds dissatisfaction and inaction. Instead, start each day by focusing on what you're grateful for. It could be your health, your family, your job, the roof over your head. It could be something as simple as a good cup of coffee or a beautiful sunrise. This practice does 2 things. First, it shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. And second, it puts you in a positive state of mind, making you more likely to take positive action. But here's the key. Don't just be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for what you're going to achieve. Be grateful for the person you're becoming, Be grateful for the journey you're on, challenges and all. You see, gratitude isn't just about appreciating the good things in your life. It's about finding the good in everything in your life. It's about seeing obstacles as opportunities, setbacks as setups for comebacks. Now, let's talk about your mindset. Because your mindset is everything. It's the lens through which you see the world and yourself. And if you want to stop waiting for change to happen and start making it happen, you need to develop what I call a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that you can develop your abilities through dedication and hard work. It's the opposite of a fixed mindset, which believes that your qualities are carved in stone. People with a growth mindset embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, see effort as the path to mastery, learn from criticism, and find lessons and inspiration in the success of others. They don't wait for opportunities. They create them. So how do you develop a growth mindset? Start by changing your self-talk. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I can't do this yet. Instead of saying, this is too hard, say, this is challenging, and I'm getting stronger as I work through it. Embrace the power of yet. I'm not good at public speaking. Yet, I don't know how to code yet. I haven't achieved my goals yet. This simple word opens up possibilities and keeps you focused on growth rather than limitations. And remember, your brain is like a muscle. The more you challenge it, the stronger it gets. So seek out new experiences, learn new skills, tackle difficult problems. Each time you do, you're literally rewiring your brain, creating new neural pathways that make you smarter, more creative, more resilient. Now, let's talk about your habits. Because your life today is essentially the sum of your habits. What you repeatedly do ultimately forms the person you are, the things you believe, and the personality you portray. If you want to change your life, start by changing your habits. And here's the good news. Habits are learnable and changeable. You're never too old, too set in your ways to form new habits. Start small. Want to write a book? Start with a habit of writing 100 words a day. Want to get in shape? Start with a habit of doing 10 push-ups a day. Want to start a business? Start with a habit of researching for 15 minutes a day. These might seem insignificant, but remember, small hinges swing big doors. These small habits, consistently applied, lead to big changes over time. And here's the pro test. Link your new habits to existing ones. Want to start meditating? Do it right after you brush your teeth in the morning. Want to start journaling? Do it right before you go to bed. This makes it easier for your new habits to stick. Now, let's talk about goals. Because goals are the compass that guide your journey. Without clear goals, you're just drifting, waiting for life to happen to you instead of making it happen. But here's the thing about goals. They need to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. I want to be successful is not a smart goal. I want to increase my income by 20 in the next 12 months by developing a new skill and taking on additional responsibilities at work. That's a smart goal. And once you have your goals, write them down. There's something powerful about putting pen to paper. It makes your goals real, tangible. It's a commitment to yourself. But don't just write them down and forget about them. Review them regularly. Visualize yourself achieving them. Feel the emotions of success, because your mind can't always tell the difference between a vividly imagined event and a real one. This visualization primes your brain for success, making you more likely to notice opportunities and take actions that move you towards your goals. Now, let's talk about learning, because in today's world, if you're not learning, you're falling behind. The world is changing faster than ever before, and the only way to keep up is to become a lifelong learner. But here's the thing. Learning doesn't stop when you leave school. In fact, that's when the real learning begins. Every successful person I've ever met has been a voracious learner. They're constantly reading, asking questions, seeking out new experiences. So I challenge you to to learn something new every day. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's a new word, a new fact, a new skill. The point is to keep growing, keep expanding your mind. And don't just learn for the sake of accumulating knowledge. Learn with the intention of applying what you learn. Knowledge without action is like having a library of books you never read. It's potential going to waste. Now, let's talk about your network, because your network is your net worth. The relationships you build, the connections you make can open doors you never even knew existed. But networking isn't about collecting business cards or adding connections on LinkedIn. It's about building genuine relationships. It's about adding value to others' lives before asking for anything in return. So start reaching out. Attend industry events. Join professional organizations. Volunteer for causes you care about. And when you meet people, be genuinely interested in them. Ask questions. Listen more than you talk. Look for ways you can help them. Remember, the most valuable connections often come from unexpected places, so don't limit yourself to people in your industry or people you think can help you right now. You never know where a relationship might lead. Now, let's talk about your health, because your health is your wealth. You can have all the success in the world, but if you don't have your health, none of it matters. So stop waiting to get in shape. Stop waiting to eat better. Stop waiting to take care of your mental health. Start today. Start small if you need to, but start. Go for a walk, drink more water, get an extra hour of sleep. Meditate for 5 minutes. These small actions done consistently can have a massive impact on your overall health and well-being. And remember, taking care of your health isn't selfish. It's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. By taking care of yourself, you're ensuring that you have the energy, the vitality, the mental clarity to pursue your goals and take care of the people you love. Now, let's talk about money, because financial freedom gives you options. It gives you the ability to say no to things you don't want to do and yes to things you do. It gives you the security to take risks, to pursue your passions. But financial freedom doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. It happens through disciplined saving, smart investing, and continual financial education. So stop waiting to get your finances in order. Start today, create a budget, start saving, even if it's just a little bit each month. Educate yourself about investing. And most importantly, develop a wealth mindset. A wealth mindset isn't about greed or materialism. It's about seeing money as a tool, a means to an end rather than an end in itself. It's about understanding that money is a reflection of the value you provide to others. Now, let's talk about your legacy. Because at the end of the day, we all want to know that our life mattered, that we made a difference. Your legacy isn't something that happens after you're gone. It's something you're creating every day with every action you take, every person you impact, every value uphold. So stop waiting to make a difference. Start today. Look for ways to add value to others' lives. Mentor someone. Volunteer. Support a cause you believe in. Share your knowledge and skills. Remember, you don't have to change the whole world to leave a legacy. Changing one person's world is enough, and who knows, that one person might go on to change the world. Now, as we start to wrap up, I want to talk about something that's at the heart of everything we've discussed today. Something that's essential if you want to stop waiting for change to happen and start making it happen. I'm talking about personal responsibility. You see, there's a fundamental truth that many people struggle to accept. You are responsible for your life, not your parents, not your boss, not the government, not the economy. This can be a hard pill to swallow. It's much easier to blame our circumstances, to point fingers, to make excuses. But here's the thing. As long as you're blaming others for your situation, you're giving away your power to change it. Taking responsibility for your life isn't about blame. It's not about beating yourself up for past mistakes or current circumstances. It's about empowering yourself to create the future you want. It's about saying, this is my life. I'm in charge. I'm the author of my story. When you truly embrace this mindset, it's liberating. Because if you're responsible for your life, that means you have the power to change it. You're not a victim of circumstances. You're a creator of circumstances. So from this moment on, I want you to stop waiting for someone to rescue you, to fix your problems, to hand you opportunities on a silver platter. Start taking charge of your life. If you don't like your job, don't wait for a better one to magically appear. Start looking, start networking. Start developing new skills that make you more valuable in the job market. If you're not happy with your relationships, don't wait for others to change. Look at how you can be a better partner, friend, family member. Work on your communication skills. Practice empathy and understanding. If you're not satisfied with your financial situation, don't wait for a windfall or a raise. Start budgeting. Start saving. Start looking for ways to increase your income or reduce your expenses. Remember, taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. It doesn't mean you can't ask for help or support. In fact, knowing when to ask for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. But it does mean that ultimately, you're in charge. You're the CEO of your life. And like any good CEO, you need to take decisive action to move your life in the direction you want it to go. Now, I know this isn't easy. Change is hard. Taking responsibility is hard. It's much easier to stay in our comfort zones, to keep doing what we've always done, to wait for things to magically get better. But easy isn't fulfilling. Easy doesn't lead to growth. Easy doesn't create the life of your dreams. So I challenge you right here, right now, to make a decision. A decision to stop waiting and start doing. A decision to take charge of your life. A decision to be the architect of your own destiny. Because here's the truth. The life you want is out there waiting for you, but it's not going to come knocking on your door. You have to go out and create it. You have the power within you to achieve amazing things. You have talents and abilities that you haven't even tapped into yet. You have dreams that are waiting to be turned into reality. But none of that will happen if you're sitting on the sidelines of your own life, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect circumstances. The perfect moment is now. The perfect opportunity is the one you create. The perfect circumstances are the ones you're in right now, because they're the only ones you have to work with. So stop waiting, start doing, start moving, start creating. Because life is short and time is precious, and you weren't put on this earth to be ordinary. You were put here to be extraordinary, to make a difference, to leave your mark. But that can only happen if you decide, right now, to stop waiting for change to happen. You see, at the end of your life, you're not going to regret the things you did nearly as much as the things you didn't do, the chances you didn't take, the dreams you didn't pursue. Don't let that be your story. Don't let fear or doubt or complacency rob you of the life you're capable of living. Instead, I want you to imagine yourself 5 years from now, having taken action on everything we've talked about today. Imagine the person you've become, the goals you've achieved, the impact you've made. That future is possible, but it's up to you to create it. So as you leave here today, I want you to make a promise to yourself, a promise that from this day forward, you're going to stop waiting and start doing, a promise that you're going to take charge of your life, a promise that you're going to pursue your dreams with everything you've got, because you have greatness within you. You have the power to create an extraordinary life, and the world needs what only you can give. So go out there and make it happen. Your future self is counting on you.